Parker Resource Mini Clinics, we got a great one today for you. Coach Thomas Tedder, the defense coordinator at Brunswick here in Georgia, down on the coast, does a great job. Brunswick had a fantastic team last year, did a great job on defense. Coach does a great job. This is going to be a good one. Talking about the 3-4, one of my favorites. All right, very pleased to be joined this time by Coach Thomas Tedder. Coach is the defense coordinator at Brunswick down in beautiful coastal Georgia. Coach, I'm jealous. Right. I'm up in the mountains.
Yeah, I really like it down there in Brunswick, and really been blessed by being, as far as added onto that staff back in 2019, and really looking forward to this season coming up.
Coach, you guys had a great team last year, and I know you're going to have them ready this year too. So talk to us a little bit. Teach us what you got.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, I really wanted to just talk about, what we're doing here on our side of the ball on defense. And I went to a clinic in Atlanta and actually ran into a guy that was a defensive coordinator at one of my old jobs when I was at Independence High School in Charlotte, North Carolina, with Tom Knotts. And I said, well, this can definitely work for us going into our 2019 and 2020 season. And I just decided that this would be our, this works best with our kids at this time. And it's really been very beneficial to us and our success down there at Brunswick. We run a 3-4 scheme. I'll tell you right now, if you look at what we have up on our board, basically it says our cornerstone of our defense is just, we want to keep it simple. To me, defense is really, if you keep the defense simple, it enables your players to play fast and, just to react and make plays, hopefully behind the line of scrimmage. So we keep our defense simple. And the reason why we keep it simple is, Coach, we only really have 2 calls, right and left. I mean, it can't get any simpler than that. The second thing it says, it's unpredictable. We have the ability to slant both ways and play simple coverages based on what we do. For our inside linebackers, we really want to keep it 2 different ways for them. It's cloudy or clear. All right. So if the hole opens up and it's big time, hey, go now and attack that hole because something's coming up in there. So that's how we teach our linebackers. If it's cloudy, we really want to make them, as far as like scrape down the line and find the ball. We want to be master technicians with our defensive front. So we really want to teach the fundamentals with our D line. We want to make sure that they're making sure that they are getting the reads from either the guard or the offensive tackle, as far as a butt read or a face read. We really want our outside linebackers to disguise. Like I said before, we're a right or a left call. So, I might have an outside linebacker that's up on the line, making a look like they're coming, and then boom, at the snap of the ball, they're dropping back into coverage. So we really want to keep the offensive line guessing. Really, a lot of our disguise, if we disguise really well, sometimes their protection might slide over to the guy who they think is going to be coming, and really, it's really coming from the opposite side, and it creates a lot of havoc, definitely, as far as when, it's a passing situation, we get a chance to get a sack. We want our outside linebackers to do a good job in our defensive ends, to bounce and exchange. And then, that way, if they make the play bounce, our inside linebackers are gonna scrape over the top and, be in a position to make the tackle. We want our DNs to either be post setters if you're on the Okie side, or butt sliders. So, and I'll talk about more about that in just a minute. But again, our defensive ends are reading the guard. If the guard goes down the line, that's a butt read. And your job is to, get in that gap and then eventually continue to work down the line and, hopefully make a play from the backside. If it's a face read, then you're going to redirect and then rip your inside arm and then start climbing up the field. So that's what I mean by post setters and butt sliders. And then, the last thing is we want to have good tacklers in space and we want to gang tackle. So that's just, what we feel are our cornerstones at Brunswick with our defense. All right, so our defensive emphasis is, again, lateral slants. We want to go either right or left. All right. We'll always have two overhang players where it's going to be either either the outside linebacker or an outside linebacker and a safety that's going to be down the alley, depending on what kind of covers that we run. All right. Our C-gap players, our reduction outside linebacker and Okie DN will always squeeze or bounce that play by either wrong arming or slipping the blocker. All right. We want to make sure that if we get a log, that means that running back's going to have to bounce, and that's going to make our inside linebacker scrape over the top and then make the play. All right. And again, we're talking about bounce and exchange. So that's basically what we want to do if our C-gap players, reduction outside linebacker and Okie DN are always squeezing and making that play bounce. So that's what we want to do. All right, so here's our base D. All right, it's either a right or a left call. All right, so first thing we had to do when we implemented our base D, we had to reconfigure our defensive line and say, okay, when you hear right, you're going left. When you're hearing left, you're going right. So that was a chore in itself, because sometimes the kids would say, well, you said right. Yeah, I know I said right, but you got to go the opposite way. So, I mean,
Coach, you might have some smarter ones down there than I have, but some of mine just figured out right or left anyway. So you really confuse them because they just figured out the right one when they were in about ninth or 10th grade, probably. So, yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, that was really, for us, when we implemented, that was really the hard part, because when we said right, we still had DMs going to the right. And, my thing is, if you look here, if I said right, and you see that a right outside linebacker is the one that's going to be going into C-gap and surfing, the problem is if you go right, it's going to create a big gap right here in B. And that's what you don't want. That's going to put this guy in a big bind right here. So we don't want that. All right. So again, all right. So let's go back. So we have the D line's always slanting away from the call. The outside linebackers are really the ones that really have to hear what the call is. So if it's a right call, that lets me know if I'm on the right side, I'm playing outside linebacker, I'm the one that's going to be going down in the C gap, and I'm going to surf down the line. Okay. If I'm the opposite away from the call, I'm still going to read the end man on the line of scrimmage, and he's going to tell me what I need to do as far as being an outside linebacker. All right. So again, if we go through this again, I have a right call here drawn up. I'm going to come down. If my tackle blocks down, I'm going to surf down the line. Now, what we tell our reduction outside linebacker is, we really want you to be the last man on the tackle, because if you look here and say they just run zone read right here, all right, I really don't need you making this tackle if I'm the outside linebacker and they're running zone away from me, all right? I'm more worried about two things. One, if this back runs the bend back on zone and he tries to cut it all the way back in the B gap, I still need to have a player that's sitting right here to make that tackle. And that's why we say, hey, surf down the line. So you're really only going to take maybe about 2 or 3 steps, because you want to stay active, okay? And then the defensive end right here, again, he's going to slant in the B gap. Again, reading the guard. If the guard gives me a butt read, I'm getting down the line. Again, with the nose, if my guard gives me the butt read, I'm getting down the line and I'm working down the line. And that's the thing that we teach our guys, that, especially if you're the reduction end or the nose and it's a right or a left call, your job is really to get down the line. And that's really what their job is as far as that goes. The Okie end, which we call the guy that's away from the call, he's basically just going to work half the man, and he's going to keep his outside shoulder free. And that's what we really want to do as far as our Okie end on that side. The Okie outside linebacker is, again, going to read this tackle. All right. So if he comes at him, he needs to expect, hey, I need to work and fill up in D gap and make sure that nobody gets outside me. All right. So that's got to be how it's got to be coached up with our outside linebackers. Again, we're going to read, again, we're telling them who's got the call, and the guy away is either going to help out as far as run support. If he gets a face read by this guy, then he's going to drop off or whatever coverage that we have taking place on that particular play. Okay, again, here's a left call, same thing. Again, left outside linebacker. Now you're the guy that's going to be surfing in C gap down the line. Again, down the line, work half the man, keep my outside shoulder free. Okay. All right, so we got our reduction defensive end keys. All right, we got the butt read. Our reduction defensive end reads the guard. Guard sees the defensive end sees the guard's butt. You're going to cross over with the outside foot. You're going to rip with the outside arm, and you're going to play flat down the line of scrimmage. All right. We have in our the last couple of years, we've done a really good job as far as making plays from the backside, especially with our defensive ends. And I'll be honest with you, if you look at the 3-4, you usually think, okay, well, these guys got to be space eaters. Not really in a sense. I mean, our guys, we really focus on if a guy is really quick and can use his hands really well and has got good feet. Hey, I mean, we got a guy right now that's probably, I'd say, under 6 foot and, a little bit over 200 pounds, and he's playing defensive end, but he's done a really good job as far as working hard. But he's not really an overly big player. You know what I'm trying to say? So, you don't really need to have, you need guys that are going to be quick and get down the line, because that's basically what we need them to do. All right. Let's see here. Play flat down the line of scrimmage, bounce any kickouts. So say, for example, we have a right call. I'll say, for example, in this play, we have a left call and this end comes down here, but the play's coming back. You got to be strong enough right here to, again, take on that guard and, again, make that play bounce, because right now you have an outside linebacker that just be sitting out there ready to make the tackle. All right. For our outside linebacker, he's going to read the end man in the line of scrimmage. So that could be a tight end, that could be, or a tackle. So that's who they're going to read as well. So again, if, for example, we have a left call that we have here and the tackle blocks down and this guard is coming to pull to kick you out, you can either wrong arm it, or it's like we've been trying to do is we've really been trying to teach our guys how to slip the block and get underneath the guard and have him log. Because if you're logged, then that makes a great opportunity for our inside linebacker to scrape over the top and find a way to make that tackle. All right, so that's what we want to do. So reduction outside linebacker, you're going to read the offensive tackle or tight end. If you see the tackle's butt, get hands to the offensive tackle's hip, take 2 shuffle steps, keep shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. And again, like I said, if the guard is coming to pull, hey, slip the block, force that play to bounce, and that enables our inside linebackers to scrape over the top and make the play. All right, let me see here. All right, so if you get a face read, here's the big difference now. If you get a face read, say we have a left call on again, all right, and the guy gives you a high hat. Well, we're going to tell our outside linebacker and our end, hey, plant the inside foot. There's no sense of going down the line now. Plant and then start climbing up the field, because there'll be some kind of pass at that point. So that's what we want to do. Again, if they give you the face read and you get high hat, you're not going to worry about going down the line. You're going to climb and start to attack vertically and attack the quarterback. All right. So we tell our guys right now, we want you to anticipate a butt read, but you're going to have to react to a face read. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's what again, we're trying to keep it simple for our kids. We don't want them thinking too much. So again, anticipate the butt read, because you got to think now, a lot of teams now, that's about all they run. A lot of zone, inside zone, zone read, jet power read, that type of stuff. So that's kind of what we rarely get to see a wing T team every once in a while. Although that's, you'll see it occasionally, a couple of teams down in Southeast Georgia that are going to run some wing T. But a lot of the teams that we face have been spread teams. So that's how we're teaching our guys as far as, anticipate the butt read, but then, react to the face read. All right. Reduction outside linebacker keys. All right. Sometimes now what we like to do when we have a tight end and say I have a left call, all right, we want to cross the face of that tight end. We want to make it hard for that tight end. I mean, work, and we've done a really good job, especially this past spring, of crossing the face of that tight end and putting a lot of pressure on the offense as far as that way. And again, like I just said, hey, we're still responsible for C gap, even though we're crossing that tight end's face. I know, we might, line up in a 9 technique, but I still want them guys crossing that face of the tight end. All right. And then again, we're still going to have our inside linebacker scrape over the top, just in case, if they read flow coming that way or it's counter coming back. So it enables everything to work out. All right. So again, tight end release inside, squeeze the tight end down, and anticipate the kick out block made by the guard that's coming. And we want to make that play bounce. Okay. If it's arc release, ignore the tight end if it's arc release and anticipate anything that's, any guard that's pulling or H-back that's coming out to kick out. All right. All right. All right. Now the Okie outside linebacker again. And this is a technique that we've kind of put in with the smash. And what we do in smash is we just basically say, hey, beat up the tight end. Nothing gets outside you. So what I tell my outside linebackers, in this case in smash, make sure that your outside hip sets the edge. That makes sense, because I don't want anything getting outside me at all. So in this case, this would be a left smash, all right? A left smash right here, okay? So my thing is, now I got two Okie guys on the backside, the end and the outside linebacker. And in essence, we've kind of created a wall right there. There's really nowhere to go. And, my thing is, teams that like to run outside zone with the tight end, it really, negates what they're trying to do as far as getting to the edge and having that tight end try to hook our outside linebacker. So what I teach my outside linebackers are, hey, make sure that you get your hip in front, get it in front, and that will really set the edge. And now the tight end's going to be working to get to your outside shoulder. And we don't want them getting to your outside shoulder. So make sure that you take care of D gap. All right. In essence, like I said there on the last part on number 5, it's a board drill. So just whip his butt. Bottom line, just whip his butt. Now I got 2 guys doing that with the end and the outside linebacker, Sam, if that's the case, that we do call smash. All right. So that's one thing that you can do if you want to have, making sure teams aren't getting to the outside, and make sure that you can set the edge with your outside linebacker and your DN at the same time. And then the last thing, Okie defensive end, your job, since you're the guy that's the post setter, we want you to block the blocker. Make sure that you are keeping our inside guys are free to just roam, and make sure that they have the cloudy and clear going on, so they're able to make plays behind the line of scrimmage. And I'll be honest with you, Coach, this defense has really helped us out in the last couple of years. I know for us last year we only gave up like 11 points a game in conference and 13 points a game overall. And I'll tell you what, it's always a blessing to have the guys that can pull this defense off. But, for me, it's been a great opportunity as far as coaching at Brunswick High School. And, I appreciate you having me on here. I really do.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was fantastic, Coach. Doing this role, I would say this job, but jobs insinuate you make some money. So this is just a hobby for me. But this role I'm doing now, I really like just listening and learning. Mm-hmm. But I have to be honest, that is my favorite defense to learn about.
I appreciate it.
Of all of them, I prefer. I think especially in the now, the days, like you said, you're going to see 8 or 9 of the same offense. Let's be honest. You're
That's
going to
right.
see the same offense 8 or 9 times. Some of them
That's
are a
right.
little different, but it's the same general stuff.
Right.
I don't think there's anything that can adjust better to the different types of that team. You know, some teams pretty physical in their spread. Some teams
Right.
going to throw it every play. Some are going to option you a lot. Some are not.
Right.
You know, it just anyway. I felt like we always had a chance when we played that straight 50 or old 3-4.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
where and I think it is. I'm glad you said it because I think it is a misconception that the linemen have to be so big. I don't think they.
You're right.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I'll tell you what
Right.
I found, and then I'll let you go. But
No,
the reason that if I ever struggled or doubted myself running that particular defense, now I was at Pickens or Chapel Hill. We probably didn't quite have as talented a kids year in, year out at some places I would have preferred. But inside linebacker, sometimes we struggled to do all the things. You know, we needed the kid that was big to take on power and the kid that could scrape over the top on the outside zone. And for us, it was rare to find 2 that could do that. And I don't know that I heard people, like, I feel like people defensively always complain about the D linemen or the corners or the safeties. You know, it's always, we can't do something because of these guys. But I found that the people that really made us question some of the reads were when we struggled at linebacker. And it wasn't necessarily that they weren't doing what we asked them to. It was just that the Lord didn't make them strong or fast enough. You know, we put the quicker kid in that could get over the top and he couldn't take on, or we put the kid that could plug pretty good and he couldn't get him quite where he needed to be on the spot over the top. But when you can fix that problem, I don't believe in that. I believe you can teach D linemen to play there. I believe you can teach corners and safeties to play in that scheme. So I'm with you 100% on that, Coach. I love it.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, for us, you know, we found out that having taller outside linebackers or bigger outside linebackers that can run and are strong have really helped us out. And our inside linebackers really aren't that very big, but they can run and they can go side to side. And that's what we need. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, a lot of teams are trying to, you know, everything's trying to get outside and I'm going to beat you around the corner. But, you know, if you have guys that can run sideline from B to B, I think you'll be in great shape.
Yes, sir. I think so too. Coach, you guys do a great job, man. I'm excited to follow you this year and appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to me. And if I can ever help you out, please let me know.
Absolutely. Take care, Coach. I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.